Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Baby Saver. My name is Kim, and I'm going to be your instructor today. I've been a nurse here at Hoag for 30 years. I have my BSN, my bachelor's degree of science in nursing. I'm a board-certified lactation consultant, and I'm a proud member of the OB Education Department. As a member of the OB Education Department, we are so happy to support the community by presenting this class to you today. So please know this is a bit of a modified class, the Baby Saver class. It's going to be less than an hour in length, and this is the content we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about infant and child CPR. We're going to talk about what to do if your infant is choking or has an obstructed airway. We're going to talk about safety issues. We want your babies to travel safely, so we're going to talk about car seats. We're going to talk about safe sleep, and we're going to talk about making sure your home is safe for that new baby. Now, get a pen and paper ready, have your cell phone ready, because we are going to talk about resources throughout this class. Two resources I want to start you off with are the Baby Line and the Circle by Hoag app. The Baby Line is your phone a friend. We are available Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. If you have questions about your pregnancy, childbirth, classes, baby care, breastfeeding, give us a call. All the nurses that answer that phone line are board-certified lactation consultants. You can also call us if you need to rent a hospital-grade breast pump, or even if you need help with breastfeeding. Our Breastfeeding Clinic is still open and we are taking appointments. Breastfeeding is essential for our little ones. Okay, so we're going to jump into this and we're going to talk about infant CPR. So this class is CPR for the lay rescuer. So this is not a certification class. This isn't CPR for medical professionals. It's CPR for the lay rescuer. So we're talking about parents, grandparents, babysitters, anybody who's out and about who wants to do CPR. This is basic CPR guidelines. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is infant CPR. When we are talking about infant CPR, we are talking about little ones that are under 1 year of age. With this group, cardiac arrest is usually preceded by a respiratory issue or a respiratory failure. So it is very important that we do chest compressions and we give babies breaths when we do CPR. I'm going to be using this mannequin today. These are the same mannequins that we use when we do our in-person class. These mannequins are amazing because when we push down on the chest, it'll click and make a noise to let us know we're compressing deep enough, and there's a light system that lets me know I'm doing my compressions fast enough. So let's start off and let's go through the steps of infant CPR. So the first thing I want to do, if I ever need to do CPR on anybody, we need to make sure the scene is safe. I can't help anybody if I become a victim too. So anytime we do CPR, we make sure the scene is safe. The next thing we need to do is to see if our victim is responsive. This is a baby. My baby has no name, so I'm just going to be calling it baby. But what we're going to do is we're going to tap and shout. We're going to tap and flick the bottom of the feet while we're, baby, baby, are you okay? Are you okay? By tapping and shouting, if things were okay, this baby might respond. But if this baby is not responding, I am calling out for help. Now, if I am at home and I know a loved one's home, I'm going to call them out by name. Jack, help, call 911, get in here now. But if I'm out in public and I don't know anybody that's around, I might point somebody out. You, in the black shirt, call 911, get over here and help me. And then if a cell phone is ready to go to call 911 by somebody who's helping you, get them on speakerphone so you can hear dispatch help you out. Okay, so we checked for responsiveness, we called out for help. Now we need to check to see if this baby's breathing. If this baby that is under 1 has a bunch of bulky clothing on, get it up and out of the way. Lift t-shirts up, unbutton, take rompers off. We gotta have a clear view of that chest. So we're gonna move the shirt out of the way and I'm gonna look at the baby for at least 5 seconds, not more than 10. Is this baby showing any signs of life or breathing? I'm looking for rise and fall of the chest. But if this baby is not breathing or only gasping, I need to act. Okay, so we checked breathing for 5 to 10 seconds. This baby is not breathing. At this point, we're going to step into CAB. We're going to jump into our CAB. That is the acronym for compressions, airway, and breathing. So the first thing I'm going to teach you is how to do compressions on your little one. When we are talking about compressions, we are putting the pads of 2 fingers right on the sternum, right below the nipple line, right here on the chest. So if I have a baby laying down in front of me, I will put my finger on the nipple line, and I'm gonna put 2 fingers right in the center of the chest below that finger, and I'm gonna do my compressions. When I do compressions, I push down and I release. Every time you push down that chest, you have to let it recoil. You're gonna push down and you're gonna let it release. Now, the goal is to do 30 compressions at the rate of 100 to 120 a minute. Now, music saves lives. If you need help trying to figure out how do I know 100 to 120 beat, sing the song by Bee Gees, Staying Alive. You can even sing Crazy in Love by Beyonce. There are songs out there that have that beat, and you will just compress to the beat of the song if that helps you out. But you need to compress 30 times at a rate of 100 to 120 a minute. So let me demonstrate you what 30 compressions would look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, if you're gonna do CPR on anybody, they need to be on a firm, flat surface. So not the couch, not the mattress, tabletop, floor, a nice, firm surface. When we are doing chest compressions, and the reason we're doing all of this is to circulate blood and oxygen to the vital organs, the heart, the brain. That's why we are compressing this heart. So, we checked for responsiveness. We called out for help. We checked to see if the baby was breathing. We did 30 compressions. Now we need to breathe for this baby. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the airway and we're gonna give this baby 2 breaths. To open the airway, we're gonna do a head tilt chin lift. Place a few fingers on the forehead, a few fingers on the bony part of the chin, and you're gently gonna tilt the baby's head back. This baby needs us to open the airway so we can breathe for them. Once you've got that head tilted, you're gonna breathe for this baby. You are gonna give 2 1-second breaths, puffs of air, and see if the baby's chest does a rise and fall. That's how you're gonna know that air's gotten in. Your lungs are way bigger than the baby's, so you just use the air in your cheeks. 2 1-second puffs, and let the baby exhale after each breath. So, head tilt, chin lift. Just to add, when we do CPR on an infant, you're gonna use your mouth to cover the baby's mouth and nose when you do these breaths. You want a tight seal so that breath gets into the baby's lungs. Just like that. 2 1-second breaths. And I could see that there is rise and fall in this baby's chest. Now, when you need to do CPR, if somebody has already called 911, you're gonna continue CPR. 30 compressions to 2 breaths until first responders arrive. Now, if somebody around you knows how to do CPR and you're getting exhausted and they're willing to take over, that's great. But you're gonna continue until the first responders arrive. If you are in a situation where you are all alone, you're nowhere near a phone, you need to do CPR for 2 minutes on this baby before you leave the baby to run and grab your cell phone and call 911. Once again, sometimes just the chest compressions and opening up the airway is what's gonna save this baby's life. We don't wanna delay that by running and searching for a phone. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through all the steps. We're gonna put them all together, okay? So, I come upon my baby, something's not right, I'm gonna check the baby for responsiveness. Hey, baby, are you okay? Are you okay? Someone help, please, call 911, come in and help me. T-shirts out of the way, we're checking for breaths. 5 to 10 seconds, baby's not showing any signs of breathing, so we're gonna jump into our cab and we're gonna start 30 compressions. I'm gonna show you what 5 cycles is gonna look like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, 2 breaths. Back to compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Two more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 2 breaths. Last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, 2 breaths. Now, if I was all alone and nowhere near my phone, this is when I would go run and I would call 911 if I was all by myself. Once again, if 911 has already been called, then you're going to keep doing CPR till the first responders arrive. Okay, now we're going to talk about child CPR. When we're talking about child CPR, we're talking about differences. And I'm going to go over those right now. When we're talking about children, we're talking about kids that are over 1, maybe up until just the beginning of puberty. Now, if you're dealing with a child that's the same size as an adult, you're going to do CPR like you would with an adult with 2 hands. But when we're talking about child CPR, we're kind of doing the same steps. We're still jumping into the cab, doing 30 compressions, opening the airway, and doing 2 breaths. I can't read that. Okay, sorry. When you are dealing with a child, you're still doing compressions, airway, and breathing. You're still going to make sure they're responsive, call out for help, breathing, compressions, open airway, and breaths. But let's talk about the differences. When you're dealing with a bigger child, you're going to tap and shout at the shoulders, okay? Bigger kids can have big tennis shoes on, all kinds of shoes, so you're going to be right up here at the shoulders. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? All right, once we know they're not responsive, you're still hollering out for help. Hey, somebody call 911, help me out, get over here, okay? Once you call out for help, you're still checking for breathing. Get that shirt out of the way. Check to see if there's rise and fall of the chest. If there is not, then you're gonna do compressions. You need to do 30 of them. The rate is still the same, 100 to 120 per minute. But we're using the heel of the hand. The heel of the hand in the center of the chest, right between the nipple line. And you're gonna do 30 compressions, straight down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. After 30 compressions, you're going to open the airway, head tilt, chin lift, and now you're going to breathe for the child. With children over 1, you pinch the nose and then you take a breath. So you're going to seal your mouth around their mouth while you pinch the nose. So pinch nose, 2 breaths, and back to compressions. So once again, with children, you're still going through the same steps. Checking for responsiveness, calling out for help, checking to see if they're breathing, doing 30 compressions to 2 breaths. But remember, responsiveness is up at the shoulders. Compressions are with the heel of one hand. When you do your breaths, if the child is bigger, you might need to do a bigger breath, but it's still just a 1-second breath. And then do your compressions. When you're doing chest compressions, you're pushing down 1/3 of the depth of the chest. For infants, it's going to be about 1.5 inches. For older children, it might be up to 2 inches. But that's how you're going to do child CPR. And then remember, you're still going to do 30 chest compressions to 2 breaths. Pinch that nose before you breathe. I'm going to show you 5 cycles right now. Okay, so this is a child. Let's say this is a 4-year-old that I'm going to need to do CPR on. I come across the scene. I want to make sure that the scene is safe, which it is. I'm going to check the baby for responsiveness. Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Baby is not responsive. I'm shouting out for help. Help, anyone, call 911. Get over here and help me. If help is on its way, I'm going to check for breathing. Get the t-shirt out of the way. 5 to 10 seconds. No signs of breathing. I'm going to get chest compression started using the heel of one hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, pinch the nose and breathe. Back to compressions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, pinch nose, breathe. Back to compressions. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, pinch nose, breathe. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, pinch nose, breathe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Head tilt, chin lift, pinch nose, breathe. Okay, even for the child, if I'm completely alone, I'm going to try to do 5 cycles of CPR before I call 911. Now, absolutely, if your child wakes up, breathes, cries, turns pink, that's excellent. That baby's going to be okay. First responders are still going to come because we got to evaluate what went on in the first place. But once again, you're going to continue doing CPR until those first responders arrive. All right, so we talked about infant CPR. We talked about child CPR. Now we're going to talk about...
We have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Someone wanted to know back for baby if they need to clear the airway or turn the baby over before starting CAB.
Oh, do we need to try to clear any type of airway?
Yes.
No. No, you're just, I mean, if there's liquid in the mouth or something you can wipe away, that's fine. But when you're doing CPR, you just want to jump right into CPR. Don't delay for any reason, okay? Thank you for clarifying that question for me. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about choking and an obstructed airway. Now, babies do all kinds of things. They burp, they cough, they gag, they spit up. It's important to be around your baby so you can know what all these different sounds and noises seem like. But babies have a cough and a gag reflex for a reason. It helps to protect their airway. So when we're dealing with babies, if they make that noise and it startles you, look at the baby. Is your baby pink? Is your baby breathing? Is your baby crying? That is all good, okay, no matter what kind of funny noises they make. And if you're in a situation where something is concerning you with your child, but they are coughing forcefully, have a strong cry, or breathing adequately, continue to monitor them. You may need to be able to react if something changes, but those are usually good signs. But you may need to react in the future if things go bad. Now, what are some signs and symptoms that they're actually choking? If they have a violent cough, vomiting, then they're choking and gagging, struggling to breathe, maybe their lips are turning gray, blue, or purple, those are all signs of an obstructed airway, and you want to act fast. With an infant, a little one, under 1, you're going to do a series of back slaps and chest thrusts. So if you're new to parenting and you haven't done a lot of holding of a newborn, I want you to get really familiar with your little one, holding them, transferring them safely, making sure everything's okay, because when you have to pick them up quickly and get them into this position where they are head down, you want to be able to do it safely, okay? So when we do back slaps and chest thrusts, they're in your arms, head down. Now you can do this standing up, or you can do it sitting down where they're on your lap using the support of your leg, okay? But for this purpose, I'm going to show you standing up. Notice where my hands are on the baby. I'm supporting the jaw, and I'm supporting the head, neck, and back, leaning them down, and then I'm going to do 5 back slaps in the middle of the shoulder blades, just like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're trying to dislodge whatever is in that throat or whatever is causing the obstructed airway. Then safely, I'm going to support the baby and turn them over. I'm going to do 5 chest thrusts, just like we did with CPR. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if anything comes out of the mouth or I see something, I can remove it, but we're not going to do any blind finger sweeps. Baby's not responding, so we're going to continue with the back blows and chest thrusts. Now, when your baby first has an obstructed airway, they're going to struggle a bit, okay? You're going to keep doing your back blows and your chest thrusts. But as you continue to do this, if the obstructed airway is not resolved, and then your baby becomes limp like a rag doll, that's a good sign that they're unconscious. At this point, you're going to lay them down on a flat surface and you're going to start CPR. So I'm going to review this with you again. If you see signs that your baby has an obstructed airway, coughing and gagging, but now you don't hear those noises anymore. They're making all those same movements, but there's no noise because there's no air getting by. They're starting to turn blue or their lips are purple. Pick them up as quickly and safely as you can. Get them into a tummy down position on your forearm, using support of your leg if you need to. 5 back slaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Followed by the chest thrusts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to back blows. Chest thrusts. Now if my baby becomes unconscious, I'm simply going to get them onto a firm flat surface and I'm going to start 30 compressions followed by 2 breaths. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 2 breaths. And I'm going to continue. I'm going to continue doing CPR till help arrives, till first responders arrive. Please know if there's anybody else around when your baby's choking, of course you're going to scream out for help. But once that baby becomes unconscious, we've got to do CPR. We've got to do 30 compressions to 2 breaths because we're still trying to circulate that blood to the vital organs. And don't get discouraged if you try to do a breath and you can't get any air by. The baby had an obstructed airway to begin with. Don't get so frustrated about that that you forget to get back to doing those good chest compressions. Okay, let's talk about doing, one thing I want to mention. With the baby that's choking, you don't ever want to do a blind finger sweep. We don't want to dig for something that's not there or cause any damage to the baby's mouth by doing a blind finger sweep. You're only going to remove stuff from the mouth if you see it. Okay, next, we're going to talk about doing, what to do if you have an older child that is choking. Now this goes for anybody who's over age 1. When they're over 1, you're going to do a Heimlich maneuver. So this is the mannequin that I have today, but let's imagine this is a 1.5-year-old who can stand in front of me. When we do the Heimlich maneuver, we make a fist. We place that fist slightly above belly button area, put the other arm around, and in one motion, we're going to push in and up, in and up, in and up. Now this goes for anybody over 1. So I'm talking about kids over 1, adults, anybody you can do the Heimlich maneuver on. Now, the universal sign for choking is hands right up here. If you see anybody doing this, you can get right in front of them and say, are you choking? Do you need help? If they say yes, get acting right away. Get that Heimlich maneuver going. So once again, whether it's a 1-year-old, a child, or older, make sure your arms are under their arms. Fist, right at belly button level, other hand over, and once again, it's in and up, in and up, in and up. We're trying to put pressure on the belly and diaphragm to get that object expelled so they can breathe. But let's say I'm in right here by a 2-year-old and the child is choking and I've tried the Heimlich maneuver, and at first the child was struggling, but now they've kind of gone limp in my arms. If you're doing, Heimlich maneuver on anybody, you do need to be ready in case they go unconscious. So sometimes you might want to widen your stance because if you start to feel their legs buckle, you need to help them get safely to a firm, flat surface, because just like with infant CPR, if they are unconscious, you need to start CPR. So if this was an older child who I was doing the Heimlich maneuver on, the item didn't get expelled, that child went unconscious, I would come right here to the chest and start compressions. But this is a child, so I'm going to use the heel of my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Open the airway, pinch the nose because this is a child, 2 breath. And you're going to continue CPR until first responders arrive, or until the child is coughing, breathing, pink, crying. Those are all good. Okay, resources for CPR. You want to look into the American Heart Association. Those are the guidelines that we use. Go to American Heart Association, CPR, and First Aid, and you should find all kinds of resources and information about doing CPR, obstructed airway, for infants, children, and adults. Okay.
Can we have a couple questions?
Sure.
One is, someone talked about a certification years ago and learning the ABCs. Is that outdated?
Yes, it is. It has now changed. The American Heart Association, we don't go by ABC, airway, breathing, circulation anymore. It's CAB. And that is because compressions are the most important part of doing CPR in general. And for adults, there is compression-only CPR, but the compressions is what gets that blood circulating. So the new guidelines are, get your compressions started, do 30, then open up that airway and breathe. You'll also know, I don't do a pulse check on this baby. Pulse checks are for medical professionals, not the lay rescuer. So we're not going to take the time to try to feel a pulse, because some people don't know how to feel a pulse accurately, or maybe they're just nervous and scared, and maybe they think they feel a pulse, or it's their own pulse. We don't know. We're not going to take time for that. With an infant and a newborn, if they are not breathing, you're going to start CPR. Are there any other questions?
Yes, in regards to compressions, are compressions performed at the nipple line or right below it?
Okay, so for infants, it's going to be right below the nipple line. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can either put 3 fingers on the chest where your pointing your finger is on the nipple line, lift that finger up and go. Or, I'm a lefty, I use my right hand to find the nipple line, and I put my 2 fingers right next to it and I push down. So when we're talking about infants and babies under 1, it's right below the nipple line. If you're dealing with a bigger child and you're using the heel, your heel in your hand is pretty big, that's going to go right on the sternum between the nipple line in the center of the chest, straight down. Do we have any other questions? Okay, we will continue. All right, so that was the infant CPR portion of the class, and if we have time at the end of the class, if you guys have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. One thing to know though, CPR, even when you come and take our in-person class, it's something that you need to review. It's something that you need to practice. It's not something you just kind of learn once and walk away. So review the numbers, review the rate, think about it. Because if it happens, you want to be ready. And the nice thing is if you can just remember 30 compressions and 2 breaths, call 911 and do 5 cycles if you're by yourself first, attend to the baby. That's what's so important. Good quality compressions are the hallmark of great CPR. And we want to start saving a life long before the first responders come. So get started as soon as you can. Okay.
Okay, a couple more questions.
Sure.
I love these questions coming in. To be clear, when compressing, are we compressing the sternum or just below the rib cage? And what should we do if we break a rib?
Oh, that's a good question. So first of all, you are only pushing down on the sternum. The sternum is the bone that goes down the center of the chest. Use your fingers for guidelines, and you're simply pushing straight down on the sternum. We don't want you pushing on the ribs. But let's talk about broken bones. So with our older population, when CPR is done, you're told to push hard and fast. Can ribs break? Can there be fractures in adults when CPR is done? Absolutely. Now, how often it happens with little ones? Little ones, their bones are a little bit more flexible. I don't have the exact statistic on that, but this is what I do know. the benefit of quality chest compressions outweighs any risk of a broken bone, because broken bones heal. But this child may not live if we don't get compressions started right away. Do we have any other questions?
Which foods are the most likely causes of obstructed airways?
Oh my goodness. Well, with little ones, let's talk about that a little bit. When babies are little, they spit up. When they're first born, they can spit up amniotic fluid. When they're older, they can spit up breast milk or formula. But most babies spit up and they swallow it right back down. As babies get older though, we need to make sure that they're not exposed to chokables. We don't want them getting a hold of those things. So we're going to talk about in the second half of class, when your babies are crawlers and they're getting down on the ground. Have you ever gotten down on the ground and checked out what's on your floor? We want to make sure there's no little batteries, coins, water bottle caps, balloons, toys from a different child that are not age appropriate for a newborn that a baby might pick up and put in their mouth. And then when we're talking about chokeable foods, oh my goodness, popcorn, grapes, hot dogs, all those little hard jawbreakers, all those things. Your children need to be old enough to handle those foods because they can be a risk for choking with those younger age groups, 3 and 4 or younger. Well, probably shouldn't even give them to babies that are much younger than that. But you want to avoid those chokeable foods for kids that are under 5. And supervise them when they're eating. You don't want a child running off with food in their mouth or a sucker in their mouth, or giggling or doing things that could cause an obstructed airway. But those are some examples. Any other questions before we continue?
How many attempts at the Heimlich maneuver on a child over 1 before transitioning to CPR?
You're going to do the Heimlich maneuver until they're unconscious. So if they're standing and struggling, you're going to keep working on trying to get that obstruction out. But once they're unconscious, they're not going to be able to stand up once they're unconscious. So if they become limp, flop forward, lose their footing, start to be wobbling in the legs, that's a sign that they're going unconscious. Get them safely to the floor and get CPR started. So with the Heimlich maneuver, you're always going to keep going until the item is expelled and they're breathing and doing fine, or they've become unconscious and you need to get them to the floor safely. But they won't be able to stand up on their own when they're unconscious. Then you're going to start CPR.
One more question?
Sure.
Will giving a baby a warm shower help when unconscious?
No, because we don't know why they're unconscious for in the first place. Don't try to revive a baby by putting them underwater. If they're unconscious, start CPR. I mean, it depends. Are they unconscious because you've done your CAB and you need to start CPR, or are they unconscious because you witnessed choking? But if your baby's not conscious, you got to get medical help right away. Start by checking for responsiveness. If they're not responsive, what do? You call for help. You check their breathing. You get CAB, compressions, airway, breathing. Time is so important to get that started. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, so we're going to continue. We're going to talk about, now we're going to switch gears and we're talking about baby safety. So you're going to be at the hospital with us for at least 24 hours. You're going to have the best care. We're going to take great care of you and your family, and you're going to learn a lot about baby care. That's what our nurses do more than anything in Mother-Baby Unit, is teach families how to take care of their babies. But once you leave the hospital, you're going to be transitioning to home. And how do you do that? With your infant's car seat. We need to make sure that you have that car seat installed long before you come to the hospital, and that you know how to use it correctly. Now, most of you will be purchasing a rear-facing or a convertible car seat. A rear-facing car seat is designed to simply face backwards only for our littler babies, but sometimes it can go up to maybe 22, 35 pounds. A convertible car seat faces backwards and forwards. Convertible car seats can go backwards from 35 to 50 pounds. Here's the latest update. The 2000 update on car seats is that your children need to be rear-facing as long as possible, up to the limit of the car safety seat. So what that means is that's going to include children under 2 and many children up to age 4. So it's not a specific idea that you have about when the baby should turn around. It's based on the car seat that you purchase. What the weight limit is for your car seat, how it should be used facing backwards, is what you want to go by. okay? So once again, they're gonna stay rear facing as long as possible up to the limit of your car safety seat. Now all car safety seats have a weight limit. They'll have a height limit. It's usually about an inch to the top of the car seat. Once there's no longer that space, they're too tall for the car seat. But the weight limit is important, and your car seat also has an expiration date. You need to know when that is as well. So number one, we want you to get your car seats installed correctly, and I am going to give you some resources for that. You need to make sure that you're using your restraints appropriately. That is a 5-point restraint. Those straps, there's a chest clip. It needs to sit at the armpit level, not down by the belly. And then you need to do the pinch test. A lot of parents put their kids into car seats and the straps are way too loose. If you can pinch slack up at the shoulder, those straps are not snug enough. And also, when you're putting your baby into car seat, you don't want to put them in a big bulky jacket or something bulky that's not going to allow the 5-point restraint to fit snugly. That jacket needs to come off, that bulky clothing. Get them in the car seat safely. You can always put a blanket over their lap. And for parents who are a little nervous about car seats to begin with, if you're all driving together, somebody sit in the back seat with the baby. Keep an eye on the baby. That's okay. The American Academy of Pediatrics does not recommend the use of aftermarket products. Aftermarket products are products that might be sold that you can put in your car seat after the fact. You need to know that those products were not crash tested with your car seat, and they're not recommended. So, get that car seat in early. Have any of you even installed your car seat yet? Have you got them out of the box? I know that if you're early in your pregnancy, maybe you haven't had a baby shower yet, maybe you don't have your car seat. But if that car seat is sitting in a box in your home, get it out. Pull out the instruction manual. Know where it's supposed to be in your specific car, usually the middle of the back seat, and then go through the instructions. Know how to install it, know how to use those straps, know how to tighten them, know how to loosen them. It should be anybody who drives with that baby should know how the car seat works, okay? And then think about if there was an emergency. Do you know how to get your baby out of that car seat quickly? That's why another reason why you need to know how to use those straps. So let's talk about resources. HealthyChildren.org from the American Academy of Pediatrics is a great resource for car seat safety. The CHP, the California Highway Patrol, is also a great resource for car seat safety. That's chp.ca.gov, the California Highway Patrol. They have a great child safety seat video. Not only does it explain the research and the reasons why you should have your kids facing backwards, it also goes over installation, it goes over how to use the straps so your baby can travel the safest way possible. They also have resources to get in touch with a car seat safety technician, and they'll also have resources on where you can get your car seats checked if you need to. All right, so that's it as far as car safety goes. Now let's talk about what you do as you transition to home. So you're at the hospital, we got that baby home safely using your car seat. Now we need to talk about some things in relation to your home. Have you looked up child-proofing your home or what to do to keep your home safe when there's a baby there? If you haven't, I'm going to encourage you to do so. But here's some things that I want you to think about. Do you have fire alarms and are they working? If they're battery operated, are those batteries new? Do you have a carbon monoxide detector? Do you have a first aid kit? Bumps, bruises, cuts, and scrapes happen all the time. Are you ready for that? Do you have a disaster or earthquake supply kit ready to go? When was the last time you looked at the temperature on your water heater? Is it set at 120, which is where we want it to be to prevent severe burns? At home or in your cell phone, do you have the phone number to your pediatrician or poison control? Or do you have those numbers available if grandma or when grandma can come over and babysit, or you have a babysitter over? Let me give you the number to poison control. If your child ingests anything not meant for human consumption, or maybe it's for human consumption, but that of an adult. Think of the things adults may have at home. Medications, alcohol, beauty products, all those things. If they are ingested by a little one, we need to call the poison control. That number is 1-800-222-0222. 1222. Put it in your phone. Once again, it's 1-800-222-1222. Now, accidents happen, but there are things we can do to make sure little ones don't get into things, or that we're going to have more than one reason to call poison control. Medications, up and out of the way. Make sure they have child safety caps. Think of everything under your kitchen sink. What kind of cleaners, detergents, things that could be poisonous are sitting under there, and a crawler could get there. You want to make sure that those items are up and out of the way, not just behind a locked cabinet, but up and out of the way, because that locked cabinet is only safe if the last person that was in there remembered to set the lock, okay? On other cabinets, you can put locks and things like that. Remember when I was talking about getting down on the hands and knees and seeing what a baby can see within your home? Although your babies are not going to crawl right away, eventually you're going to be doing tummy time with your baby. You are going to be putting your baby on the ground or on a blanket on their tummy so they can work on strengthening their neck muscles, their shoulder muscles. So let's talk about things that you need to think about within the rooms of your house. Down low, outlet covers, electrical outlets. Do you have those covered? What about loose or dangling cords? What could a baby grab, pull on? We don't want any strangulation happening. We need to get those tied up. What could your child, when they're in the crawling or pull-up stage, pull on top of them? What kind of bookcases or furniture that if a little one pulled on it could topple on top of them? And that goes for TVs and computer monitors as well. We need to make sure those items are safe and a baby can't knock them over. When I was mentioning dangling cords, a lot of electrical appliances have dangling cords. Appliances in your kitchen, appliances that you might use in the bathroom like a hairdryer or a curling iron. All those things have to be put away. We don't want kids yanking on cords and having appliances fall on top of them. So those are some ideas. The other thing I'm thinking right off the top of my head is trash cans within your home. Are they covered? Could a little one who's crawling get into them? We want to make sure everything is safe. And back to the water heater and burns. When it comes to things like that, think about your baby. You don't want to be holding your baby while you have a hot drink in your hand. You don't want to hold your baby while you're cooking. If you don't want your baby in the kitchen or your little one in the kitchen, put up a gate so they can't get into the kitchen at all. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many things to do to make sure your house is safe. Now, a couple of resources for home safety would be healthychildren.org by the AAP. And that's going to be information on childproofing your home. The other thing is you can look up childproofing your home, but just make sure those resources are reputable. But there will be lots and lots of things you can do to make sure that your home is safe. Now, when you have little ones, like I mentioned before, accidents happen. There's bumps, there's bruises, there's cuts, there's scrapes. Minor injuries that you feel comfortable with, you can deal with at home. But this is what we want you to know. If there's anything going on that's a concern to you about your baby's health or any injuries that have happened in the home, do not hesitate to call the pediatrician, to go to an urgent care, or to call 911. Don't delay care if your baby needs help. One other thing I wanted to mention is pets. I'm sure a lot of you have pets at home. They might even be your first babies, and that's great. But the one thing you do need to know is that pets are unpredictable. Don't rely on the breed of your pet or the size of an animal you have at home to make you feel that everything is a-okay. You need to know that animals are unpredictable. Pets and babies need to be introduced slowly, okay? Some families will bring something with the scent of a baby home to introduce it to the animal before the baby comes home. Even that needs to be done slowly, but we want you to be safe. Pets should not be sleeping in an area where a baby sleeps. And for the most part, a baby should never be left unattended while your animal is around or near the baby. When pets and babies are near each other, there needs to be very close supervision. Now, if you want a little information on pets and introducing them, whether you have a dog or a cat, you can go to the ASPCA, and they have articles on dogs and babies and cats on babies. Cats and babies, not cats on babies, cats and babies. So once again, it's the ASPCA. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is safe sleep for your baby. So you may have heard of the word SIDS, which stands for Sudden Infant Death Syndrome. You may have heard of the term sudden death or sleep-related death. We want to prevent this from happening. 90% of SIDS deaths occur before 6 months of age, and a SIDS death is a death that is unexplained even after investigation. So once again, 90% of those happen before 6 months, mostly between the age of 1 and 4 months, and although it is rare, it is the leading cause of death in the first year. So we want to establish safe sleep practices for your baby. So the first thing is, I want to make sure that you have a crib that meets all safety standards, okay? Rails don't drop anymore, crib slats are close together. It needs to be a crib that meets safety standards. The next thing, you're going to need a firm mattress for that crib, okay? When we put babies to sleep, we're always going to put them on their back to sleep for the first year. Now eventually, when your babies are old enough, they're going to flip and turn on their own, they're going to sleep on their bellies and do what they want to do. But when you are placing your baby down to sleep within the first year, you're going to place them to sleep on their back, on a firm, flat mattress. Okay, you're going to remove all soft objects from the crib. Your baby does not need stuffed animals in the crib, quilts, extra blankets. We're going to remove all soft objects from the crib, and we're not going to use bumper pads. Bumper pads are not recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Now, babies that sleep in the same room as their parents in a crib or bassinet have a decreased risk of SIDS. Babies that are breastfed have a decreased incidence of SIDS. And actually, speaking of breastfeeding, while I'm on that topic, I want you guys to know that after discharge, if you need any help with your breastfeeding, our breastfeeding clinic is still open. We are still taking appointments Monday through Friday to help our new moms with breastfeeding their babies. Hoag also has another fabulous resource called the Pacify app. The Pacify app is available to all families who deliver their babies at Hoag. It is a free app that provides you with one-on-one FaceTime with a lactation consultant 24/7 if you need assistance with breastfeeding. So if the baby line is closed, if you can't get into an appointment on a certain date, 24/7, if you need some breastfeeding assistance, especially on the weekends and in the middle of the night when the baby line and the clinic aren't open, you will have this amazing app to help you out. Okay, back to safe sleep. Vaccinations. Vaccinations have a protective, they're protective against SIDS. So vaccinating your baby helps decrease the risk of SIDS. A couple things we don't want you to do. We don't want you to overheat your baby. Your baby needs to be dressed appropriately for the environment. They need to wear layers, not have extra blankets on them. So they wear those layers. And some babies might need one more layer more than you're wearing, but instead of a loose blanket on their body, they're gonna wear their layers in the clothing that they're wearing. And babies do not need anything on their head or covering their head while they're sleeping. We also wanna avoid exposing babies to secondhand smoke, okay? We wanna avoid doing that. Now, pacifiers have a protective effect with SIDS if they're offered at nap or sleep time. But if you're breastfeeding, we want you to establish a great milk supply, make sure your breastfeeding is going well and that your baby's gaining weight and doing fabulous before you offer a pacifier at sleep or nap time. So we're usually gonna wait 3 to 4 weeks before we do that. Please use caution when using products that claim to reduce the risk of SIDS. Wedges, positioners, these type of sleep surfaces are not recommended. And if somebody's claiming to reduce the risk of SIDS, if a product you're buying is claiming that, where's the research? We want proof before we use items like that. And if the proof and research is not there, don't use them. Now, I want you to educate others about your safe sleep practices. If in the future, when we're not social distancing, if grandma's coming over to babysit, or you're sending the baby to a daycare provider or a babysitter, everybody needs to use the same safe sleep practices. So please, anybody else who's taking care of your baby, grandma, auntie, daycare provider, like I mentioned, you want to make sure that you are educating them on safe sleep practices so your baby can be safe. Now, if you have any questions about safe sleep practices, you can simply refer to the AAP updates. That is the American Academy of Pediatrics. They will provide you with plenty of information on safe sleep. Okay, the last topic I want to talk about is shaken baby syndrome. This is something that we don't want to happen. We don't want anybody to do it. We want to make sure babies are safe. But with shaken baby syndrome, it's brain damage that occurs. A baby's neck muscles are weak. They're unable to support their head. So if a baby is shaken violently, the brain slams against the skull, and it can cause swelling, bleeding, brain damage, and death. So we don't want a situation where we have a caregiver at their wit's end and a crying baby. It is always going to be okay if somebody is caring for a baby and they're exhausted, they're stressed out, they're anxious, they're angry, any of those things. It's always going to be safer to simply put your baby down, even if they're crying, safe in a bassinet or a crib, and as that caregiver, give yourself a break. Breathe it out. Try to relax. Shout it out. Cry it out. Phone somebody for help. Do whatever you can. Call your partner to come do backup. Do whatever you can so that we do not shake a baby. If you ever have any concerns that somebody else may have shaken your baby, get that baby medical attention right away. Okay? One of the best things we can do when we bring a new baby home is support each other. When parents and families support each other, it makes everything a little easier. Make sure you're getting rest. Make sure you're eating nutritiously. Tag team parenting. Take turns helping each other out. Do whatever you can to support each other. Okay, so at this time I was going to see if we had any questions.
CPR first.
Sure.
If the airway's obstructed, aren't the compressions useless?
No, because compressions are what circulate the blood to the vital organs. Remember, like I mentioned before, in adult CPR, you don't even have to do breaths. You can do a hands-only CPR for adults. So don't let the fact that the baby's airway is obstructed keep you from circulating blood to the vital organs. I know, just keep doing the compressions. Try to do the breaths. The other thing you want to think about, it's possible when you're doing the compressions that you dislodge what was obstructing the airway. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention. When you're doing CPR after an obstructed airway, when you do the head tilt chin lift, look in the mouth. If there's an object, you can take it out. But remember, the chest compressions can help dislodge what the obstruction is. So like I said, airway obstructed or not, you still need to do CPR. 30 compressions with 2 breaths after until first responders arrive.
The other one related to that is, what's the point of circulating unoxygenated blood?
There's oxygen in the blood. It's not going to be 100%, but there's still oxygen in that blood.
How about mesh liners in the crib?
So bumper pads are not recommended by the AAP. I know it seems like there's more ventilation with a netting type crib bumper, but what we have to worry about is strangulation and entrapment and suffocation. And if there's any way a child can get caught up in any of that or ties, then it's not recommended. We don't want anything in that crib that could cause suffocation, strangulation, or entrapment.
How do you feel about the snoo?
Oh, well, what are your thoughts on that, Chris?
Tell people what it is.
It's a crib, and it does a little bit of motion to help calm the baby down if the baby's fussy. It kind of swaddles them a little bit, and it rocks them back and forth. It's expensive, and I mean, I think that's what parents are meant to do. I mean, when we're with a baby, babies need to be held. If they're crying, sometimes it's a reason. I don't want any product keeping you from checking on your child. It's really going to be up to you whether you want to purchase something like that. It is expensive. It's all got all kinds of bells and whistles. But the bottom line is, in some senses, babies are meant to wake up frequently when they're first born. That's how they breastfeed. And so it's really up to you what products you buy, but that may not be something you have to invest in right away. Take care of your baby first. Hold them, love them. You can't hold a baby too much at the beginning. They rely on you for everything. Any other questions?
Yes. How do you feel about the Dock-A-Tot?
Oh goodness. Okay, so the Dock-A-Tot DockATot is another padded sleep surface. And the bottom line is, if your baby is resting in something like that, they need to be under continual observation. You gotta keep an eye on them. What if your baby turned to the side? I believe the DockATot has some padded sides. I don't think it's a sleep surface like that is not recommended by the AAP.
How long is it recommended to keep the baby in a bassinet in your room?
Okay, I believe in a perfect scenario it would be 1 year, but I think they're recommending at least 6 months.
The owlet.
Okay, monitoring. So for healthy full-term newborns, cardiac monitoring, SAT monitoring isn't necessary or recommended. I realize based on some new parents and worry and anxiety about the baby breathing, some families want to buy something like that, and once again, it's totally your choice. But when you try out a device like that, if they move, sometimes movement can set it off, and so you're hearing a bunch of alarms when the baby's just fine. And the American Academy of Pediatrics doesn't recommend that kind of monitoring for full-term healthy babies.
This one's about the sleep socks for SIDS, which I think is the same thing as the owlet with AAP.
Oh,
says
got
no.
it, got it. So once again, we follow AAP guidelines here at Hoag, and the American Academy of Pediatrics doesn't recommend that type of monitoring.
Is it safe for a baby to fall asleep in a car seat or swing?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
And does it require constant monitoring or just parent awake around in same room?
So here's the deal. If your baby falls asleep while you're in the car, they're in the car seat for their own safety. But if you are now at home, it is recommended that your child be removed from the car seat and put safely to sleep on their back. If you were gonna leave your child in a car seat or a swing to sleep, you better be watching them. You need constant supervision. Don't just assume that they're gonna be fine, because that's a different situation for long-term sleep. And the safest way for your baby to do long-term sleep and naps is by putting them safely on their back in their crib.
Baby's arms and legs could get stuck between the bars of the crib without the mesh lining. Is it safer to have the mesh lining or get their limbs stuck?
So here's the bottom line. Bumper pads and the like originally came about years and years ago when babies' heads could actually get through the crib slats. But the current safety standards have those slats so close together that we're not worried about the head anymore. Yes, could an arm go through a slat? But you're thinking of what injury could happen to the arm versus a suffocation, a strangulation, or an entrapment. I don't think there's a lot of information that severe injury is caused by arms and legs out those slats. But suffocation, strangulation, and entrapment can kill a baby. Are we good? Okay. So listen, that wraps it up for now. I hope I was able to answer your questions. If you guys have any other questions as things continue, do not hesitate to call the baby line. Now, this class is going to be archived, so you will be able to refer to it at a later date, and we're going to keep doing these classes, as far as I know, monthly. So you can watch it again if you want to. But I do want to thank you for choosing Hoag. If you are planning to have your baby here at Hoag, we are going to take the best care of you. We are the best hospital in Orange County, and you are going to have an amazing experience while you're here with us. You may see me. Now, I'm probably going to look like this because I'm going to have a mask on, but I do rounds in the mother-baby unit as a lactation consultant. I'm one of the voices you may talk to when you call the baby line. And at the baby line, we have access to all kinds of resources to answer your questions. I also work in the Breastfeeding Clinic. So if you bring your baby after your discharge and come see us in the Breastfeeding Clinic, I might be one of the lactation consultants that helps you. All right, as far as classes go, I want you to know that on May the 7th at 1 p.m., we are going to have a baby care class, a live stream baby care class. You might have seen it and signed up for it already. On May 11th at 3 p.m., we're going to have a breastfeeding class, live stream. And just a reminder about your resources, no matter what's going on, we have the baby line, the Circle app by Hoag, which you can find at the App Store, and our Pacify app. So if you are delivering at Hoag Hospital, know you're going to get 24/7 support with your breastfeeding through the baby line, the Breastfeeding Clinic, and the Pacify app, which once again, you will have one-on-one FaceTime with a lactation consultant. Thanks again for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Good night, everybody.